It's showtime. Welcome back, everybody. Tuesday night. Chat with the Muskrat and Mr. Creole catfishing. What's going on, my brother?
What is happening, my man? Another Tuesday night. They it seems like they come faster and faster. That week just rolls around faster and faster these days.
I was going to say that to you the other day when we talked about what we're going to do this week for the show. I was thinking, man, it's already Friday, and
yeah, exactly.
We got to come up with what we're going to do this week.
Time flies when you're busy.
Actually, tonight's show is Jeremy's idea. Was talking about, hey, we got CatCon coming up. What can we talk about here on Tuesday night? And Jeremy said, well, why don't we kind of just talk about some of the things that, people's going to be out shopping and spending their money. Let's kind of talk about some things to look out for, things that to keep in mind when you're making those purchases this weekend. I thought, man, that sounds like a great idea. So that's what we're going to tackle tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about rod. We're going to talk about some rods. We're going to talk about reels, talk about hooks, and who knows what else will pop up in between. But not so much manufacturers, just more about things to keep in mind as far as action, specs, and things like that you may or may not have realized already. So, but before we do that, we got 35 people hanging out in here, first minute of the show. And I seen some couple early birds in there. We seen Steve Ransom in the house, Cat Quatch in the house, Buckeye catfishing. My dad says, "Turn the pigeons loose." He was right and ready.
I like that one.
Early to go. Wabash Nate, Harold Bolton, channel member, Big Wrench Catfishing, also a channel member. Thank you guys for helping out. And Carolina Catfish, Robin C, another channel member. Thank you. Crappie Day Fish On. Let's see, Tommy Minnow Dunker, Sean Abney. I'm trying to scroll faster, Roger. Oh, we got what the shizzle? Brandon's in the house.
Mr. Live Scope himself.
My brother Zach Murray says Simplify Marines. Thank you for stopping in. Dave Garcher's in the house. We got somebody from Facebook. I ain't logged in on the Facebook side yet, so I'm not sure who that is, but welcome and thank you for stopping in. We got the weekend angler, Chucky, Sean T, Michael Snow with Fishing the Mid-South, Rod Knockers, Sasquatch, Custom Lures. There we go. I don't think I've seen that one before. There's Jerry Parker, Robert Linton. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for stopping in. The Bearded Eagles here. There's Miss Becca saying hello, y'all.
What's up, Josh? Let's see. Are we caught up already? Wow, we're doing good tonight.
I was trying to stay on top of it. If I missed you, it wasn't intentional. I promise you. I promise you that.
Boy, it's wonders what a nap can do for you, huh?
Yeah, I just woke up. I've had a rough few days, to say the least. But came home today and I laid down, took a nap, and then I woke up, thought I was awake, and fell back asleep, and just woke up like 15 minutes ago.
There you go.
Like,
but look, while we're on that subject, look, they got a lot of people in our catfish community that are either hurt, sick, got all kinds of stuff going on. Look, when y'all can, y'all say a little prayer just for everybody. I believe everybody got something going on these days.
Yeah, that's everybody in the community kind of has ups and downs, and including you and I and everyone in between. So, just a quick update. If my mama's listening, hello and I love you. She's doing fantastic, man. She has came a long way in a week, man.
Good.
So she's up moving around, man. She's looking good. She's sounding like her old self again, and it won't be too long. She'll be heading home and start the road to recovery from home. So
very good.
So excited about that. Let's see. We had Catfish Hammer jump in. We had Catfish and Fresno also in the house. Catfish and Freak. There's a lot of catfishing. Everybody.
I wonder why.
I don't know. It's the community.
I can't imagine why that would be.
Yeah. So let me. There's Paul Edmiston. If you guys are going to CatCon, give me a thumbs up in the chat. Just a thumbs up in the chat. if you don't mind leaving a thumbs up on the show, you could do that as well. But I just kind of wanted to see who was going. Now I already know Jeremy's not going to make it to this CatCon. We just can't get close enough to him down there. So
next year, I don't care if I have to mail myself there. Of course, it'd take one hell of a box, but just
that's a big box.
Yeah, it's a big old box, but somehow.
So we got some thumbs up in there. Sean Abney's going. I know Zach's going. I'm riding with him.
Yeah.
Big Rich is going. Robin C is going. Sasquatch says negative Ghost Rider. Mid-South says he canceled his reservations earlier today. Huh.
Oh, man.
Well, things happen.
Hey, look, that's how it is.
Chucky's going. I mentioned it in somebody else's live stream. I said, we need to get the tags that say, hello, my name is. So put your YouTube channel name on there, because people have been coming up and just saying, hey, man. And it's like, hey, you.
Yeah. Good thing.
Yeah, I hate doing that. I love to put a face with a name. And Facebook here says, hello, my name is John. Well, John, thank you. Welcome.
Awesome.
For tuning in. There's Trey. Maurice Cason's in the house. What's up, guys? You guys come find me at CatCon. I got some new stickers in today.
Everybody loves stickers.
Look at the size of that sticker. This is the size of my head. So we got some big old pack of stickers ready to go, and get those out.
That needs to happen. Y'all need to petition old Mr. Douglas for that right there, dude. You talk about a party.
There we go.
Ooh,
and then I also got I got some smaller stickers too. Some people don't want to take up that much real estate with a big old sticker, and we got these ones here ready to go as well. So
yeah,
come find me at CatCon. Remind me to hook you up. I'll hook you up. But let's see, AJ's Merchantile Tackle Box. I got to talk with them a little bit today. Joe's got his boat, man. His boat's just about ready for the water. We're talking about playing with all of his new toys.
Go on, Miss Nat.
Hello, thanks for stopping in. Trey says, I'll look you up in Louisville. There you go, buddy.
Yeah.
I'll be there. You guys will have stickers down there here soon. There you go. So one of the things we wanted to talk about is rods, fishing rods, right? So this is one of the rare occasions where you can actually go put your hand on the rod and shake it and wiggle it, and whatever you do that makes you happy when making a decision on the rod. Easy. But all rod manufacturers are not the same. A medium heavy is not a medium heavy across the board, right?
Ooh, that's right.
Hellcat medium heavy is not the same as a Mad Cat's medium heavy, and a Mad Cat's medium heavy is not the same as a Big Cat Fever. They're not the same with Tangled Catfish. I don't want to leave any name out, but none of them compared to my Uncle Lou's. But no. But so one of the things I wanted to talk about is not so much rod brand, all right? Because ideally, in my opinion, you want to buy something that that's going to allow you to have a good time, right? So,
yes,
everyone kind of has their own opinion on what they want in a rod, and for each person should be different. If you're in an area where you're catching channel cats and the occasional fish over 20 pounds, man, I wouldn't go with a heavy action rod. It just wouldn't. I love like when we go fish Sandusky Bay, we take our medium action rods, and the medium heavies, are, I like that. Thank you, buddy. Still Team Better Cheddar for life. There we go. Yes. We like the lighter action rods because it's a good time. We could go up there with extra heavy rods and just ski the fish across the top of the water, but that's not what we consider having a good time. So, my opinion is, don't go buy something that's way overpowered for what you need or underpowered. And kind of just be honest with yourself of what situations you're in, whether you're fishing high current areas that require throwing heavy weights. And then you do kind of got to look at how many ounces and things like that or it's rated for. So if you need to throw 16 ounces, you're not going to throw a Hellcat medium action rod. You're not throwing 16 ounces with that. I'm just telling you, you're not. It's like a wet noodle. It's not going to happen.
You won't do it day in, day out. I can tell you that. You might do it one time and get away with it, but I mean, they're just not. Certain actions just aren't designed to do those kind of things. And plus, you have to be realistic about the size of fish that you expect to catch in the body of water you fish. If the biggest fish you could possibly hope to catch in your body of water is 30 pounds, a heavy action rod is too much. You're going to want to downsize the action so you can see the bites and the movements of those smaller fish. You don't want to miss out on that, especially you guys that like to target. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say flathead. That everybody knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, see, I'm learning something. You see,
he meant yellowcat.
Yeah, I had a hard time not saying it, but yes, if you're gonna go after yellowcat, especially that delicate bite that sometimes they give you, a heavy action rod may not show you that delicate bite, and you're going to miss out on fish that you didn't even know were biting.
Yeah, and Rod Doctors has a good idea. He said carry a 8 to 10 ounce sinker in your pocket with a snap swivel on it, and you can snap it on the end of the rod and kind of really feel what that power, the rod action is before you ever buy it. And most manufacturers are going to be more than happy for you to try it and test it. I seen one at the Columbus Fishing Expo. A guy was hanging like big old 16 ounce weights on them and just pulling them down and seeing what kind of action you get out of it. But so over here on the chart, you kind of see it. If you can see, follow my mouse there at the bottom, the rod is fairly straight. It's going to be your heavy action. Your fast tip, the next one over, moderate fast. And then you see where the flex is and where the red arrow is. Where does that? Everybody calls that the backbone, right? When does that start getting into the backbone? And then you get into your deeper flex. These are going to be your like your medium, or I'd say this is probably like a medium or medium light. And then over here, you've got one that's completely different. It's called a parabolic. All right. So the bend is actually throughout the entire rod. Right. And some people, that is exactly what they want. They want that parabolic bend all the way through to the reel seat. All right. And some people don't. So if you're not sure if that's something you want, ask and find out, where that, if it's a parabolic, a rod, or if it has a 30% or a 40%, or where that backbone kicks in. And
if I'm not mistaken, a lot of your carbon rods that are on the market now, a lot of them are going to have that actual parabolic bend where the entire blank is the action of the rod. I mean, somebody feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I've got two different brands of carbon rods now, and it seems like the entire rod is the action. So and that's just a point there between there's more and more carbon rods out there on the market for catfishing than there used to be. So you got to make sure you're comparing apples to apples when you're comparing your rod.
Yeah. Now we could probably do an entire episode just on rods, bills, S-glass, E-glass, carbon, graphite, and things like that, and really go dive deep into each of those. But I'm not a professional. I would have to do some research before I even start speaking on those different things, because I'm not educated on it, to be completely honest.
Oh yeah.
And this Jody brings up a fantastic point. One of the most important things to remember when you guys are buying, catfish rods, is you have to look cool. We need it to match. We need it to shine, and it just matches her logo. So, hey, there's Patriot James Smith. What's up, buddy? Missed you. Hey, we missed you too, buddy. Things are warming up. We can't wait to get out there and get her done. Roger, where did you get this chart so I can get a better look at it? Matt, I'll send it to you, bud. I can send you that chart right there. I think I had another one here. Yeah, this is kind of just breaks down the rod action here when we're talking about the flex in the upper quarter of the blank, fast, immediate, and slow. When you're talking about 1/3 of the tip, a half to the, of the blank, a third of the blank, and a quarter of the blank. And, it's kind of hard to judge which one's right for you, until you know what your conditions are.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing I can speak to that is, let's say moving over to a bumping rod, which I'm sure there'll be plenty of brands of them at CatCon for y'all to see. Look, hey, we don't want to show that one. We were joking about it, and there you go and doing it. Keep in mind that your bumping rods for sensitivity purposes are always going to have that real fast tip. The transition is very quick from tip to backbone, and carbon blank, of course. That's going to maintain your sensitivity. So keep in mind, in all your bumping rods, you're not going to have one with a soft tip that has a lot of flex and a lot of bow in it for sensitivity purposes. An example of an application needing a certain type of action in your tip.
Yep. So there's a lot to consider. Here's the other thing that is a big deal to me, and it may be not a big deal to anyone else, but the handle length, or they call it the butt, from the reel seat on. I prefer a longer butt. I like, for castability. Hey, Sandy, what's going on? I seen Tanya Hollis sneak in too. Thank you. Welcome. As well as Jody. I brought you up. I didn't say hello. Welcome, and thanks for stopping in. Setting hooks across his eyes. LG Bass has jumped in the house with us too. 205 Wild Action. Thanks everybody for stopping in. We're going to keep on talking. For me, I like a longer butt on mine. Castability. I'm more comfortable there, and I really like that when it comes to fighting a fish. The reel is out farther from my body. The action, the fight of the rod is up higher. Whereas, if you think about leverage when it comes to anything, if I'm holding the rod at the very bottom of the rod, and the fish has the advantage. He has most of the rod in his favor. And so I really like, I like a reel seat to be set pretty high and a long butt on the rods.
Yep. And naturally the taller you are, the more comfortable that longer butt is going to be, because it's going to put that reel right in the right position. Because I know me personally, when I'm fighting a fish, a lot of times when I'm just reeling in general, I don't hold the reel with my left hand. I put my left hand up on that foregrip in front of the reel, and I let that edge of that reel rest in my wrist, like the saltwater guys teach you to do. That's how I'm fighting fish. And that long butt, I'm tall, I'm 6'1", so that longer butt on those rods puts that handle right in front of me and gives me a good leverage point to fight fish.
See, Jody says she has to be careful. Now, a long butt for Jody would be great to get that reel farther away from her hair.
They do make this very interesting invention called a scrunchie.
A scrunchie.
It'll keep your hair out of the way. I'm just throwing that out there.
It's Kevin Palmetto Cats. What's going on, Kevin? Thanks for stopping in.
Kevin.
Also, for me, it's not so much anymore when you're looking at the big name brand companies, so when you're looking at the, top 5, big box names, I don't really pay attention to that. But every year there's new rods coming out from different individuals that have made their own personal blend of something. But one of the things that I've always looked at is when I'm seeing rods lined up across a rack, I'm looking at the eyes to see just how consistent they are in their manufacturing process. If I'm looking at a new rod set and the eyes are all over the place, I don't know if it really makes a difference, but it does make me question, what the process is on manufacturing the rods.
Yeah, that tells you that whoever they're using to build their rods, their quality control is
right. You would think, my opinion anyway, is that if they're building a lot of rods and they got a good reputation and they've been doing this for a while, which is what we all kind of want, right? We kind of expect you to know what you're doing. Then it would be a smooth process, and they would be, the same. The same thing goes for, and it doesn't always work, even on the big manufacturers. You should be able to take that rod and lay it straight and look through the very bottom eye and look straight out the very top eye. I could tell you that when we got the Freddy's rods, Freddie's FOA custom rods are new, right? They're new on the market. We look through the eyes, me and Zach, when I say we looked it over real good. It was like, man, the quality is really good. And we laid it down and looked, and you could look through the very bottom eye and see right out the very top eye, because they were perfectly straight in line. No deviation whatsoever.
Yep.
But those are things just to consider when purchasing rods, just to make a couple things to put in the back of your mind to make an educated decision on what's best for you. What's best for you may not be what is best for Jeremy, and what's best for me or best for anybody else out here on YouTube or your neighbor next door. You got to be realistic on what your expectations are, and get what's right for you.
Yeah.
And the same thing being said for reels. There are a lot of good reels out there, right? And they all have magic price points all over the place. And we could get into big debate on, who's the best reel manufacturer out there, and it'll never end. It's the same as Chevy versus Dodge versus Ford. Ford. Yep. Of course, none of them argue that Toyota is the best, but we'll leave that alone.
Yeah, we'll just do the rest. Anyway. Sorry, had to.
I got time down on my own show.
I know, right?
But here's the things to remember. Gear ratio is not always the deciding factor. Okay, gear ratio does play an important part in your ability to fight fish. Okay, so the real important part is the line retrieval rate. So just because it all go, and it really comes down to the size, the diameter of the spool. Some spools are going to have a smaller diameter. Some are going to have and the same thing. This goes for spinning and casting, completely the same. If you see something that says a 5-to-1 ratio, what that really means is that spool is going to spin 5 times to the 1 revolution of the handle. Right. And some of those are 7-to-1. Some of those we got. The Alios, it's like 9-to-1. It's fantastic. Just a lot of line pickup. But the thing about it is you got to think about, the line retrieval rate is being excessively high, but also you also lose power. So when you think about a bicycle or a mountain bike or even a vehicle, you climbing a hill, you get an extra power, extra force being applied, same as a fish being on the other line. What's most of us want? We want to downshift and grab a gear, right, to get that power. So for me, I like to play around that 4 to 5-to-1, 6-to-1s for me is a little high. Anything higher than that for catfishing for me is just a little too high, except for a bumping reel.
Yep.
The bumping reel, I do like a faster retrieval rate because you're basically walking all the line off your reel and then reeling it back in, and then walking it all back off your line and then reeling it back in. And
that's right.
You could control the power, just by, you do have to reel slower. Obviously, I started a war with the.
You did. You started a war. Anytime you bring that up, it's gonna happen. So hey, you know what? Hey, look, let me tell you something. They all break. I got news for you. Yeah. Every one of them breaks. So
that's it.
Yeah. You can argue about which one's the best all you want. They sell parts for all of them because they break. That's just how it is.
That is true. But the gear, this is just something to chew on. The gear ratio, it does have part to play with what's going on. Inches per turn is a bigger deal, and most all manufacturers put that on the box now. And when you're suspend drifting, it's really good to know what one turn. If you're going along the bottom and all of a sudden it starts bumping, one of your rods starts bumping. A lot of guys run over and give it 2 or 3 cranks. Well, I know on my reels, one crank on an Ancient Mariner is 22 inches.
Yep.
With my 30-pound, you also have to remember if your spool is full, it's going to be a different pickup rate as if it's half full. Right. If you run a 50-pound mono or 30-pound mono, it's going to deviate just some be honest with you, the way we did it when we're sitting on the boat is I drop a sinker all the way down to the bottom, and I put the rod straight up and down, drop my sinker to the floor, and turn it one crank and see just how high up my sinker went. So now I know that, like, when I'm suspended, one crank is like 2 feet. I don't want to go over and crank it 2 or 3 times, man.
You're 6 feet off the bottom. That's right.
Yeah. So, knowing what your inches per turn is can come in handy big time, depending on what your scenario is. But when it comes to fighting fish, I've got a lot of 4-to-1 river rat. Hey, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, bro?
That's right. His boy just got a new PB. I can't remember what the size of it was. I know he was getting ready to drop a video.
Awesome.
That's Mr. Rusty Moorfield, Mississippi crew out there. I don't know. I never seen if you guys were coming to CatCon this year. I know I think you guys tried to year before or so, or last year, and didn't end up making it. But we'll have to get together. We'll keep saying it, but we got to do it. But for me, there we go. Oh, did you get it?
Yep.
62 pounds for a 6-year-old.
Yes. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, and the cool thing about it, and Jeremy, you'll appreciate this, is he did it on the boat. His son caught that with his dad with him too.
Yep. Hey, so that's making memories. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, man, that is
awesome.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there.
You better believe it.
If I haven't seen it yet, I'll be sure to check it out. What's up, Haz?
What's going on, brother?
Hey, Chris Hill's in the house as well. Chris, thanks for stopping in. Ran into him and his family up at the expo last weekend up in Columbus.
So Mr. John Boy's in the house. What's going on, man?
Hey, John Boy. What else? So we talked about rods a little bit, actions, size of the handle. We talked about reels. With the reels, buy whatever you're comfortable with. There's so many good ones and bad ones out there. For everybody who says this is great, there's 100 that says it's not, and it goes for every single name brand out there. Hey, Sterling, thanks for stopping in, buddy. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Ed Evans is in the house. What's up? Fish on Ed Evans. Let's see what else we want to talk about. Oh, we want to talk about hooks.
Yes.
This is going to be a sensitive subject, and I may hurt feelings. I'm going to try my best to. This is just my personal feelings on the subject.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of manufacturers out there, or there's a lot of companies out there that buy bulk and bring them over and repackage them and resell them, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's just how the world operates.
Yep.
This shirt, these hats, everything we in this house has been purchased in bulk from somewhere, most likely, and redistributed. So that's just how the world operates. But the problem I get into a lot of times is when they try to alter the hooks to make them, fit the market. So like if it doesn't have an offset, folks that will take up wrenches or pliers and take the hooks and just bend them. And, if you've been around this show long enough, you've heard me cry about it before. But as we're talking about buying or, things to consider when picking up gear, that's one of the things that I always try to harp on is when you're buying a hook and it has those teeth marks right there.
Yep, that's it.
Can you see them?
Oh, yeah, you can see them. You can see them real good.
See them real good. What that means is this hook got bought straight and it got sent over here and they put it in a vise or 2 pairs of pliers and they bent it.
And they bent it to get that offset in it.
They bent it right there. And you know anything about metals? When you bend metal, what happens, Jeremy?
Anytime you fatigue it, you weaken it.
It gets weaker.
Yep.
And then obviously the scratches or the nicks in the metal give it a breaking point. So for me, that's a no-no. When I look at a hook, it's one of the very first things I look at is I look right there.
Yep.
And if I see that, then to me, now you can see the twist in that. I mean, look, the offset's pretty extensive in this one. but
yeah,
you can really tell the teeth marks. Anyway, you get the idea.
yep.
And
And
you'll
another
find,
thing too, you look for in these hooks, when it comes time for if you got 5 different hooks in your hands, okay, a quality hook is the eyelet of the hook itself, okay. And what you see now, I'm going to hold up a hook that doesn't have this situation in it, but I'll hold up this hook right here.
put your hand behind it so it focuses better. Behind the no, there you go.
You swear I've never done this before. Okay. You'll notice on this hook, you cannot see any daylight where that ring comes back around and touches the shank of that hook.
That's right.
A good quality hook will give you that. Some of these cheaper hooks I've seen in the past, you'll have a little tiny gap where that ring has been around to make that eyelet, and that little gap is just enough to start damaging a leader and cause you to lose a fish.
See the hook in my hand?
Yep.
See the hook in my hand? How it has that gap right there?
Mm-hmm.
I guess what's going to happen when your mono gets up there in that gap?
It's gonna start fatiguing it, and eventually it's gonna cut it. It's gonna cut it. Now I know for me personally, I love a straight shank hook. I really don't care for the octopus style, because for me, I can't explain why I get better hookups on a good straight shank hook. And we can talk about the everybody loves a good offset circle hook.
Yeah.
Now, some offsets are more aggressive than others. And this is just an example, but the one I'm holding here, this is the standard Triple City circle hook right here. Now, if you'll notice, if you would take a quick look, you would think it's a straight non-offset hook. You would think that. But if you look really careful, it's got a slight offset to it, not very much.
Right.
What I have found for me is that slight offset has actually made my hookups a little more consistent. They get stuck in the corner of the mouth every time, whereas I used to use hooks with a very aggressive offset. Them hooks would catch on the first thing they could, and they were getting hooks all over the place. So that's what works for me. But when you pick up hooks like this, pay attention, look at them good, look at them in line, and see if they actually do have that little mild offset. But like Roger was saying, some of these companies, they get a straight hook and make it an offset. And I can tell you for a fact, there's not a mark on them. Right. These hooks are manufactured this way, and that's how they are, which is important in determining a quality hook.
I need to talk to him. I wonder, those look exactly like a hook brand that I used to buy that is no longer available.
Okay.
And they look exactly like that.
These are my. He's got 3 different hooks. For the time being, these are my favorites. I have not missed a fish yet, and every single fish I hook, no matter what, is right in the corner of the mouth, exactly where you want to see it. I have not had a let's call a bad hookup yet. I really haven't. Sometimes you'll get one, you hook it like in the tooth patch or kind of. I haven't had that happen yet with these. That's odd, but hey,
I will be at CatCon. By the way, I sent you a message on Messenger if you get a chance to catch it. But I will be at CatCon. Me and Zach and Skip, all 3 River Warriors will be rolling in together.
Yeah, buddy.
Look out now.
Look out.
And on the hooks, I feel exactly the same as Jeremy does. Mm-hmm. I'm a straight shank guy. I feel like my hookup's better. I feel like when I tie my snell, I get more of a trigger effect because that line is coming out the front. Whereas when the eye is bent, the line's just basically straight in line with the shank of the hook. So
in fact, I happen to have one tied right here to show that trigger effect you're talking about. See, when it's in the water, it's just like this. But the second that fish gets it in his mouth, guess what happens? Right? Well, if I can hold the line straight. See how that hook wants to come up every time I let it go?
Yep.
That's that trigger effect that everybody talks about.
That's exactly what I'm.
And you can see how that snail comes out the top of that eye, that hook, and And when you pull on it, you're actually making it do this. It has that rocking forward effect. And a good way to test that, to make sure you've got it right, you just take that hook and you drag it over. You see right there?
Yeah.
See how you just drag it over. So it wants to hook me right there?
Yeah. It wants to get you real bad.
That's how you know you've got it tied right. If you can just drag it over your hand and it wants to catch. See, if I would pull it, I'd have to get out of the show real quick, you know. But that's how you know you've got it right
Yeah.
there every time. Consistent hookups.
Well, my mom's in here. She's tuning in and left a very touching comment. But so thank you, Mama. I'm just so happy you're feeling better and glad you're able to join us tonight and getting on the road to recovery. I can't wait to get you back home. So love you, Mama. What's this say? I hate to use secrets against people going, they should use one eagle claw. Well, we'll find out.
He forgot a 0.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, he forgot a 0. I think that's what happened.
A lot of hook talk like a towing company.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, thank you for the $5 super chat, brother.
No, Matt, those are the Triple City circle hooks from Triple City Anglers. That's the ones I've been showing off.
I actually do like. There aren't very many. I gotta be honest with you. I'm very picky on my hooks. There aren't very many out there that I like right now. But that is one that I do like.
Yep.
I don't know if it's a different. What's the name of it? Do they have different names like
these right here are simply Triple City circle hooks. You know, that's why I call them the standard circle hooks, because now he's got another one that's very similar called the Hog Snatcher, named for our buddy Ernie. He tells me they're a little different, just a little, and I'm going to get my hands on some very soon to see what the difference actually is. But the Hog Snatchers are also a straight shank hook, so immediately that's got my attention. But you can see them all at CatCon. That's the great part.
Mama's even throwing comments out there for you, brother.
Yeah.
Bobcat says, "I'm sorry I'm late. Can we start now? I just got home from work." Well, Bobcat, you're gonna have to go back and rewatch the first half. We've been trying to keep it entertaining and educational, and just to reiterate, these are my thoughts and opinions on rods, reels. These are things that I'm experiencing and things that. What is that?
Oh wow, Becca.
Oh man, coach, always information. Good. I'm like a sponge, suck it all. Man, I thank you, Becca, so very much. I cannot wait to see her get out and put some of this stuff to work. I know you're still working on getting moved over, and it's been a long, drawn out process compared to what you wanted it to be. But one of these days, you'll be able to get out there and put this stuff in action. Discount code trips.
I had Haz make that code for you just for that reason. Yeah. But yeah, I've got a code, of course, Creole 10. You can use Haz 10, Brian B 10, Jody 10. Anybody with Triple City, you put 10 behind their name and you will get 10%.
There you go. You get a code. You get a code. Everybody gets a code.
Everybody gets a code. Oh yeah.
Hey, we got my buddy Kevin in here. Monster Cat Catfishing. What's going on, brother? Thanks for stopping in. Jody says Bobcat's been busy making everyone stickers last minute.
Hide the bacon.
There we go. Man, I got some good bacon in the fridge down there. I got to finish. Roger, you need to call me tomorrow. Paula, I tried calling you, knucklehead. Ooh. I don't think she has service half the time. Well, I'm actually fishing with Paula Smith on March 4th in the King Cat tournament. Me and Zach Murray's going to join up with her, and we're going to go fish a tournament together and see how we do. But we got to get our game plan together.
Yeah, Roger, you might learn you something.
I am taking my camera and the notebooks and everything. Everything. I'm taking everything. And what I don't learn from her and Zach, I just ain't going to learn. If y'all act right, we might tell you what I missed it. If y'all act right, we'll tell you a secret at CatCon.
Yeah, I heard a little whisper about that, but I'll say that for the people at CatCon.
I just seen something that made me
careful now.
Is that right? Rusty, the TK hooks is what I thought he was holding when I said that there was a really good hook on the market that I enjoyed that was discontinued and apparently rebranded. That's good to know. Thank you for that information. TK hooks were one of my favorites, man. I really enjoyed it. But that hook you just showed looks a lot like a TK hook. So yeah. Stonefly's in the house. What's up, brother? Sorry if I'm missing anybody. We got Kenneth Powell, take down catfishing. I missed him earlier. Missy Kennedy is in here as well. Guerrero.
We are knocking on 100 people in chat.
100 people. Man, we got 93 people hanging out.
We're 93. We're so close to 100 people in chat. I love it.
So close. That's all.
Hit the thumbs up while you're in there. If you like what you're hearing, hit the thumbs up.
That's right. That's right. Man, I got to be honest with you. I am super excited to be heading to CatCon. We get to come in here and talk and hang out with everybody every week. Talk throughout all the other live shows that go on throughout the week. And it's just so many people that, we've connected with and talked to through here and be able to actually meet up in person and shake a hand and hug a neck and do all that stuff. And it's going to be really cool. Goober time. Guide services in the house. What's up, Dan?
What's going on, Dan?
Paula Smith says she's hoping to see everybody at the Catfish Conference. Paula, we're already bringing the iPad so we can sit down and go over Navionics with you. We're going to start circling hot zones so we can start dissecting and breaking them down. We're chomping at the bit because that's how we do. We plan, just like we've talked many times on the show. When we go to an area to fish, especially an area we've never fished before, it's Google Earth and Navionics studying all the way up until go time. And 9 times out of 10, we've already got plan A, B, C, and D figured out. And if we don't have inside sources, people that's down there kind of giving us a pointer in the right direction, we're pretty adequate at dissecting the information down and making the best out of it. So we'll see how we do.
And it's especially good for, let's say people like me. Look, I work a lot. I don't get to spend a lot of time on the water. So it cuts down so much of that scouting time. You can immediately go to these good looking spots, really spend some good quality time looking for fish in good spots instead of just hunting up and down a river that you've never seen before,
Right. This particular event's going to be held on Kentucky Lake, and I fished Kentucky Lake one other time many moon ago. Actually, when we had Matt Catman Jones on there, man, did you guys enjoy that show last week or what? I actually got quite a few comments about him being on the show. People really enjoyed having him on there. So he said he'd be willing to come back and do it.
I think I need to give me some J hooks from what he's talking.
Yeah, he has some interesting points. He's got a lot of experience. Everything he said doesn't apply to what I do, but a lot of stuff just kind of made me think a little bit. And that's what's awesome about having so many different people in the community share knowledge and share experience and share information is because a lot of people just do things different. And, my way might not be Jeremy's way, and Jeremy's way might not be my way or anybody else's in chat. But you could take a little bit of this and that and make it your own. And that's what makes things really cool.
Look, Haz has a good point here. I know it, and I don't know any other area like this. I think the Tennessee group is close to this, but they've got a network of people who constantly communicate with each other. And you got to figure that multiplies time on the water by how many people you've got out there. Everybody's sharing information about what's going on, what the fish are doing, what's happening. And look, just knowing different people in your area and talking to them can do great, great, great things for making you successful in the water. Let me tell you, great things.
Sorry, I had a message coming in there.
Oh, that's okay.
I totally missed it. That was my sister saying, "I can't see chat." You gotta, if you're not subscribed, say I have to turn on members, members only or not members only, subscriber only.
Yeah.
So that we don't get all the spam from all the unwanted crap that comes in. So every now and then I mess up and forget to turn that on, but I've been on it here lately.
and when you do forget, they let you know about it too.
So let's hear any questions in chat, man. We ran on for 45 minutes, and I think we only talked about 3 things: rods, reels, hooks. Is there anything that you guys are interested? What you guys' purchases? What is everybody looking to buy this weekend when they get down there? Oh, look at there.
There will be no shortage of these at about probably every booth that sells tackle. You're going to find the spooks, and you're going to find them in.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I'm kind of doing a little thing on my own here, and I'm trying to find just how many different spooks there are. And when I started out with like a handful. I thought, well, this name brand, this name brand, this name brand. And then as the farther I'm digging and going, and the more inquiries I'm getting, there's a ton. Oh my God.
Yeah. There's a lot.
They are a ton. So I'm trying to gather up as many as I can. I've got a little something I got in the works I'm working on. I just need basically just trying to get spooks from anyone who wants to participate in this test I'm doing. But Squirrel has a great video on side scan, says Lee Evans Catfishing. He does have a good video on that. He does a good job with his paper and breakdown. Side scan, man. We can have a pro on here. I think that we could have somebody come on here and talk just about side scan, because I think side scan is different on different units as far as the pitch, like how side scan works on some compared to others, because I'll see information, given on one channel and on one thing, and then I'll go out and I'll scan and I'll see something different on mine. And but there's a lot looking for trolling rods for channels on lakes. I like my 7.6 medium action rods. I personally, my Uncle Lou's will be is always going to be my favorite. But I'll be honest, I do have a couple Akuma 8-footers that are really good. Me, when I'm trolling and dragging boards, I like a soft rod. I don't like a stiff rod. I want that thing to really, really flex and bend before it gives, because my bait going across the bottom, I don't want it hanging up and doing this all the way across the bottom of the, I want that thing to hang up and just kind of pull back a little bit and then just, then go. And to me, it just has a more fluent. I know a lot of people, I haven't used any of these, so I can't say for sure. I know a lot of people like the Tangle with Catfish whisker whips. I've heard a lot of good stuff about those. I haven't actually put one in my hands to tell you whether or not that's a good choice. But that's the great thing about going down there at the CatCon, is you'll be able to kind of feel what each of them feels like. How bad is Chrissy going to beat you, Roger?
That's a good question right there.
Yeah, we do have an event coming up with a ladies' choice where the women have been calling out the men, and I do have to face off against Chrissy. Now, we're still working on the details. She's wanting to fish against me out of my own boat. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to work. I just don't see myself fighting her to get to a rod. So
she's going to throw you out of it. That's what's going to happen.
Oh,
she's just going to throw you off the side, or anytime you get a bite, she's going to reach over with a knife and just cut that line.
Yeah, that's
how
it.
you do that.
Yeah, and Zach brings up a good point here. The frequency selected on side imaging will also make a difference on what the angle is, as far as how far, how wide, the width of the cone. and all that stuff. So there's a lot of information. There you go. Paulo's 2 cents is a light tip, strong backbone, and a heck of a grip.
Yep.
So I'm trying not to make. There you go. Warpeg says I believe he does run the Whisker Whips. As a matter of fact, and a lot of people really do like that rod. Like we talked at the beginning of the show, when you're choosing a rod, you want to have a good time. You want to enjoy it. You can catch channel cats on a bumping rod and just ski them across top of the water. But that's, if that's what you enjoy doing, then shoot, go right ahead at it. But myself, I think, lighter action rod and enjoying the fight. And when it comes down to, can it handle a big fish? I mean, let's face it, just about all of them out there is going to can handle a big fish. 90% of the issue is not the rod or the reel; it's the angler. It takes some time to learn how to control yourself and control a big fish. Now, will failures happen? Yeah, I mean, it can happen. But as far as your rod being actually capable of landing a big fish, I think they're all capable of landing big fish. Some are going to make it a little bit easier than others. You're going to feel like you have better control. You might be able to control them out of the motor and things like that. So, there are, variations, but I think that at the scheme of things, it comes down to really with angler's abilities.
Yeah. I mean, in my personal opinion, I think the number one thing that really stresses a rod and really makes people a lot of times go to a heavier action is how much current you're dealing with. To me, I know that's the number one thing that made us move up in rods, over the years. We started off with ugly sticks, and it didn't take us long to realize the ugly stick is an awesome rod. It really is. Our boat record was caught on an ugly stick. But
that's right.
There's only so much you can ask of that rod in 4 or 5 mile an hour current with a pound of lead on the end of the rod. There's only so much you can ask of a rod.
You're already into the backbone before the fish ever takes it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So, for me, I feel like there is a fine line between too sensitive and not sensitive enough.
Yeah.
I'll pick on, I hate to pick on him because he's not here, but Skip uses he uses some medium light rods from, I won't say the manufacturer, but he uses some medium light rods when we're dragging on Hoover for catfish. And I'm telling you, those rods could take off and tie themselves in a knot in the back of the boat and still miss the fish. I tell them they're like wet noodles, man. I said that fish is never going to get into the backbone of that rod. The backbone is the reel. There's no backbone. Yep. It's just too soft. And that's my personal opinion. I feel like that's too extreme. But there you go.
Yeah, exactly. It'll do it.
Yeah.
It is capable of doing it, but will it do it time and time and time again over the years without failing? Because you're stressing that rod to its absolute max. And look, that's with anything. That's with rod action. That's with drags, anything like that. When you have to use it to its absolute max for everyday use for you, you might need to step up one.
Yeah.
If every fish you catch, you've got to take whatever reel you're using and just bear down on the drag all the way, and they're still screaming drag out, you might want to get a reel, either a bigger reel, more drag. Obviously whatever reel you're using is just a little too small if the drag can't keep up with your everyday fish.
Oh. Right. Makes a great point there with the ugly stick. He says, with any type of weight on it, you can't really throw it very effectively. I mean, they'll land anything, but castability and stuff like that does come into to play. So,
especially from the bank.
Yeah.
Especially from the bank.
Robert, see, that is good to hear. Surgery went well. She is home recovering. That's fantastic news. Let's see. was trying to think. I had something else we was going to talk about. I don't remember what it was. We
talked about hooks. We talked about spooks a little bit. We talked about rods. We talked about reels. There's just so much out there. And then you got to figure at CatCon, it's not just rods, reels, and terminal tackle.
Oh no,
y'all gonna see
nets.
Any kind of product you can imagine. I mean, and I would imagine a lot of manufacturers are probably going to reveal some new products at CatCon too. I saw Paula Smith they might not be at CatCon, but Paula Smith's hinting to something new coming out. Look, y'all are going to see stuff that probably y'all never even thought of. Like, oh, wait a minute, I could use one of those. And there you go, reaching for your wallet. You know, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Oh, look, three suggestions in a row. Fishing line.
Oh, wow. Wow, that is popular. Real quick, I want to touch on this Rusty's comment because it is that's a very, very valid point right there. If too light of a rod. Now we're talking about the angler's ability to work that fish, but at some point, you know, it becomes an issue of the health of the fish when you're just wearing them out over and over and over again instead of, you know, getting them in the boat, doing your business, you know, taking measurements or pictures, and then hopefully you're releasing the fish back. So that is a good point. Now, you know, Rusty's fishing the Mississippi, so him and the fish are completely wore out by the time they get to the boat, probably.
Exactly. But, you get wore out. You get wore out just reeling your line in. Sometimes checking your bait, much less with a fish on the end.
Well, right now on the Ohio River, of course, it's on the fall. It came up 24 feet in 3 days, and now it's dropped about 18 feet in 2 days.
Oh, wow.
That's why we call it the Yo-Yo River. But folks were out fishing on it. They said they had about 15 inches of debris on their line about 10 minutes in. They said the rods were doubled over, but it was just all trash.
Yep. Oh, man. I know the feeling. Trust me.
Fishing line, man, I'll tell you what, I can't keep up. There's so many lines out that I'm sticking with what I've been using because I have faith in it. I have good experience with it, and I have trust in it. You know, and we talk about that a lot as far as confidence goes when you're throwing your rods out. You know, let's just say you're flathead fishing and you got this live warmouth, all right. And man, he is fired up. Man, that's the best piece of bait you got in the bucket in the live well. And you throw him on there, and you're throwing him in the very best. You're looking at that log jam, and you're thinking that big flathead's laying right there. And you throw your best piece of bait at it because you're confident. Well, that confidence kind of goes. It should go on every single cast. You know, you need that confidence with your gear, with your bait, with everything. For me, my confidence is with Andy Monster. Is there better lines out there? There could be. I haven't tried enough of them. I honestly, I can't afford to try them all before I find, what works best for me. But for me, Andy Monster is just a super tough line. I run it in 30 pound. I've tried to run it in 40, 50 pound, and you just about can't break it. At times it's a pain in the butt because you can't break it. Now, are there better lines? Yeah, there could be. There's I know Slime Line is a very popular line. One of the things that I found myself with Slime Line was once you've stretched it, and it does stretch a lot. It's very flexible, but I don't think it comes back, to its original diameter, or at least as close. None of them come back to full, but I felt like I got a little too much stretch out of the Slime Line, and that may have just been my personal experience with what I had. But man, getting into mono over braid, getting into 8-strand versus 4-strand, there are several different things when it comes down to it. As far as superiority, that's not a word. But which ones are better than other? Monster has not making memory. I'll be honest. The leader line, Monster has not making memory. I was thinking the Slime Line. Yeah, on the be honest with you,
Real quick, Steve, to answer your question, I live about an hour and a half from Jonesville. It's an hour and a half north of me. Okay, for whatever reason you were asking that question, but I'm an hour and a half, not very far away.
So here's another one here. Hercules braid from Amazon and Andy's premium for monster for leaders. Yeah.
Yep. I use I use the specific Andy leader line for mine, which I think is the same as the Andy premium. I use that in the 80 pound, and I use the Andy monster. For now, I'm using the Andy monster 50 on all my reels. I'm probably fixing to back down to 40 pound. Cause like I said, at 50, I just about got to wrap around the cleat of my boat to break that stuff. It is unbelievable how strong it is. It's almost too strong, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that was the problem I was having. My line was too strong. I couldn't get daggone stuff to break, and I was tearing up more stuff trying to break my line than I was. Apparently, Jody's giving out Jello shots at CatCon, so get with Jody and.
Yes,
I don't know.
Talking about. Steve, that is my email scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Right there. If you need to get a hold of me, that's a pretty good way of doing it right there.
That's it. Mr. Murillo in the house. I see hello, but I didn't see Mr. Murillo. There he is. How long ago? Oh, so we're still talking about. So yeah, there's a lot of great line manufacturers out there. I see Matt saying Berkeley Pro Spec. Definitely a step up from Berkeley Big Game, less memory and smoother casting. Leader line, I'll be honest with you. I like Cast King saltwater leader line.
I use that for a very long time. Yep. It's very strong and ties a great knot, especially for my leaders. That's kind of how I judge them, is how good of a knot I can tie with. And that's the only reason I got away from using big game 80-pound leader, because it's a little bit of a pain to tie a good Palomar knot in it. That's the only reason I switched from it.
Yeah, and the same thing for me. Slime line, their heavy cover leader line, 80 pound. Mm-hmm. That stuff is awesome. Yeah. That ties a really good knot. That was a good line. Actually, Zach got me into the Cast King stuff. I started tying it, and it for like $8 or $9 for a spool of it. It's really good. I don't think I do use Andy Monster, but I don't think I've used the Andy leader line.
It's very, very, very similar in the knot tying to the slime line. I will tell you that for the 80 pound, the diameter is just a hair thicker than the slime line.
Oh, is it?
It's just a hair thicker for the same, which for leader, I personally want it a little thicker for the same poundage, because I'm after abrasion resistance, not necessarily their strength. That's me.
There you go. Rusty says he's been using Hercules braid from Amazon. The color fades, but not the strength. Lots of fish bringing it. Hey man, if Rusty's using that's good stuff. Those guys put some serious fish in a boat.
Yeah, exactly. But if whatever you use, if you're using Uncle Bob's mono, okay, if that's what you use and it hasn't failed you and you're putting fish on the boat or on the bank, then by God, keep using it. Don't let anybody tell you that what you're using is junk if it works for you. That's the biggest lesson.
See, our fitting lines like trying to splice wire to bar wire.
But because that Seagar is made to be crimped, that's why it's extremely stiff, because they expect most of the saltwater guys to be crimping that stuff. That's why it does not like a knot tied in it. I've been through that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of tests out there on breaking strength, and who's true to their ratings. But we talked about this before the show. Unless you've got a reel with 80 pounds of drag, and you don't. I don't think you do. I don't think you do. Maybe you do, but I don't think you do.
I don't.
You're never going to run into that issue.
No.
Like you said, the reason we run thicker leaders on, a leader Why we even run a thicker line there is because for the abrasion resistance. All right. That's why your braid guys aren't using braid for leaders, right? Even the braid guys are using mono for leaders because
That's right.
you want your abrasion resistance, right? So that bottom 2 foot of line, or however long you tie your leader, we got you, brother. However long you tie your leader, that's what's dragging the bottom, right? That's what's getting in the fish's tooth pad. That's what's taking all the damage. And, braid can't handle that. And, smaller diameter mono can't handle that either. And that's why we run a thicker, because I know that some people ask, like, well, why in the world would you run a heavier leader than your main line? Well, because it's going to get banged up the worst.
Yeah. If you've ever felt the tooth patch of a 25, 30 plus pound blue cat, you will know just stick your hand in there. You will know in an instant why we run thick mono for leaders. It's like 2 steel brushes and a vise, and it will chew up anything that's in there, including your line. And if the longer you fight dead fish, the more time he's got to saw that back and forth on that line. And he won't cut it, but he will just rub it and scratch it until it breaks.
And you have to condition yourself to check after a big fish. You have to condition yourself to check that leader. I believe it was me. I think it was me. Lost a big fish this last season bumping nickajack because it caught a good fish, 40 some pounder, and then didn't check the leader line like a dummy. Just was so excited to get back out there and get another one.
I've had it happen to me.
Broke off. It's gone. Big fish. Know when they're big. When you're bumping nickajack and they take off screaming drag going towards the dam.
Yeah. He's big. Yeah.
He's a good one. But yeah, it's, that's just all part of the process. You got to condition yourself to check your gear, to make sure you're doing, but you got to start out with good gear to begin with. So like the gap in the hook, like Creole showed earlier, that's a huge no-no. If you saw the hook I was showing, that gap in that hook is going to allow, let me see which one it was here. I think it was this. Oh, you can't see that one.
Yeah, but if you get in the habit of checking all these things, after a while you're going to do it without even thinking about it. The same reason why you pull the scale off the point of the hook and you check. You do those things without thinking about them. Watch. Let me give you a.
There you go.
There you go. Oh yeah, now you can see it. That gap right there, folks. That'll eat up your first loop in your snell knot. That's exactly what that does.
Yep.
Your first loop that's butted up against the eyelet.
Hey, keep it right there for a second. And you can tell there's scratches right there in the metal. Because that's where they held the pliers and put these teeth marks in. Right there.
Yep.
So, that for me, that's just a sign of, that's a weak spot in that hook. Have I broke hooks? I have broke off some hooks before in the past. Everyone, I'm sure, no matter what name manufacturer brain hook you got, they're all manufactured, right? They're not handmade and forged and everything. So, anytime something's manufactured, it's possible that you're going to have a defect somewhere along the line. It's just bound to happen.
If human hands made it, it can fail eventually.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
But when you're starting out with a hook that has these defects in it, in my opinion, you're setting yourself up for failure. There's so many things that can go wrong. Try not to put anything else against yourself. So we got the Carolina wheel screamers in here. Yeah, we do.
Yeah. See, look, the fish has enough of an advantage as it is. Don't help them out. Don't help them out by using, I'm not going to say cheap. Cheap and low quality is two different things. I know a lot of cheap stuff that's really good. Low quality gear, your knots aren't right. You just, all these little things. Don't give the fish more advantage what they've already got. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah. Yeah, as the more, like I said, more you could put in on your favor, the better.
Yep.
So, and just talking and fishing in general, everyone always asks, well, what, if I'm going to go spend the money, what should I spend the money on? What's the most important thing? Should I spend my money on a rod or a reel, or should I spend my money on line or hooks? And I tell everybody this: can you start at the bait? You start at the bait and work your way back.
Yeah.
And so for me, you're starting at the bait. So what are you doing to get the very freshest bait you can get? Have you learned how to throw a cast net? Well, then if not, well, then that's where I think you should start. Or learn how to, set, maybe make a clover trap and, catch brim or do whatever it takes. So what's the most important? Bait. All right.
Yep.
In my opinion, I start there and go back. So what's the next important? The hook. All right. Because nothing else matters if you don't stick him.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
And your line has to do the job, right? And then the reel has to do its job. And then the rod has to do its job. But at the end of all that comes my hands.
Yeah.
Right. It's all up to me. And, everything else after that doesn't matter. Your boat don't matter. How cool, what color your rods are don't matter. None of that stuff matters. It all starts with the bait. So, in my opinion, when people ask, well, where should I invest my money? Should I invest it here or there? I said, you got to start with whatever it takes to get you the freshest bait out there. And from there, in my opinion, you just work yourself backwards.
Yeah, because if you're using low quality bait, the fish ain't gonna bite. And if the fish don't bite, it doesn't matter how good your hook is. Doesn't matter if the fish don't bite, nothing else matters. Once he bites, I don't care how good your rod and reel is. If you got a cheap hook, low quality hook, dull hook, bent hook, damaged hook, whatever it is, you ain't gonna stick him, and all the money in the world is not gonna fix that problem. Good hooks.
Yeah. So, So for me, it's no secret what I like. I got hooked on. Get it? I got hooked on Diachi D85s. I do like the Diachi hooks. They've been really, really good to me. They are a double action hook, meaning that I can let them reel down and hook themselves. And we get into a mess of channel cats and they're just being finicky. I say, oh, you know what? I'm going to cross your eyes, you little turd. I'll show you. I can do that if I want.
Yeah.
And Fishizzle says buy them in bulk. Yeah. And if you get the opportunity to buy them in bulk, Zach and I, Zach turned me on to it. Buying in bulk. We get our Diachi hooks, a pack of 100. And, if you don't buy the red, because the red's going to cost you a little more, I'll just buy the regular nickel because the red comes off anyway.
Yeah, it does.
$55 for 100.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's 55 cents a hook. And if you price hooks any other way, if you can get them cheaper than 55 cents a hook and they're that good a quality, please let me know because I want some. Because I want them. I disagree. Clothing is important. If you're not comfortable, you won't perform well. Hey, that is actually a valid point. I thought he was just going with the whole look cool part, but I will actually agree with that and say, which if Zach's still in here, he could chime in. Investing in your gear, so like good rain gear. I wear the Cabela's guide wear, and I know Zach's wearing a Bass Pro 100-mile-an-hour suit. And because we have that gear, we can get out there and sit in the elements. We can get out there, and we don't care if it's raining, and we don't care if it's doing anything. We've got good gear to keep us comfortable and keep us out there. And so Buck, that's actually Buck Williams said that, that's actually a good thing there. Got a link for bulk hooks. Harold, send me a message. I can send it to you. I'm afraid to give everybody my hookups now because I gave everybody my hookup on my drift sucks and now they're gone.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's going to wise up. In fact, speaking of clothing, I know for a fact that very, very soon, Catfish clothing is fixing to introduce their bibs that is going to match their 3-in-1 all-weather jacket. I know that for a fact.
I hear a lot of good stuff about that jacket, to be honest with you. Like I said, investing in yourself and your gear is a good investment. I think Zach said he was really happy. you could buy frog togs and you could buy, some off-brand stuff. But when you finally break down and get a good quality set of, fishing gear, it pays for itself pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
So, but it's not, there's an initial sticker shock. I'm telling you, when you go to buy a bibs and jacket, it's tough, but if you look good, you feel good, and the more confident, you get some Catfish clothing and hats. Hey, I got Catfish clothing on right now. It is all faded out, and this hat's about.
Yep. And my Catfish hat is hanging on the chair in the next room. I should have worn it. Chris was good enough to send me 2 Catfish hats, but in my logo colors. That was awesome of him. I appreciate it. In fact, I believe he's bringing a couple of machines to CatCon.
What?
And he will be doing hats for people right there in the booth on site. If I remember him telling me right.
I wear that coat and it's better than negative 22 degrees in Iowa winter wind. Well, that's a mouthful.
Ooh, minus 22.
Rusty says, I feel best and fish the best in my birthday suit, but my dad and Paul don't like it. I'm not sure why.
I imagine not. Nope. You're not gonna look if you want to make sure that you fish alone and nobody wants to come with you. Do that right there. I promise you're not going to have very many fishing partners.
I got a true story real quick. Me and my buddy Herb were fishing on the Ohio River, and this pontoon boat pulled up, I don't know, about 50 yards next to us, right next to us. And we're like, what are these guys doing? And they're over there talking, and we're like, I don't understand what's going on. Next thing we know, we look around, that guy's butt naked, standing on the pontoon with 3 other guys. And we're like, we're out of here, man. What's happening?
Yeah,
these guys,
time to go.
He was putting on a diving suit. They were down there. They were diving.
Oh, okay.
On, I don't know what they were trying to recover or what they were doing right there, but there was something there that they were trying to work on. And it was like, it was like he just stripped down butt naked right there in front of the other guys and decided to put the wetsuit on, and he was going in. Okay.
No shame, and I hope at least some very good friends. Ooh.
Well, I don't know.
They are now.
Let's see. It says Maryland feels good. Feels good out there. Hey, there's Uncle Lou. You've been lurking. Let's see. Walmart has Swiss Tech coat inner outer shell wind water proof insulation with matching bibs. $69, $39 works great. Yeah. There's good stuff out there. Exactly like Jeremy said a minute ago. Cheap doesn't always mean low quality. There's a difference between cheap and low quality. You can get a good buy, or you can find good quality stuff at a lower price.
Yeah.
If you do your homework and research. Me, I'm a research guy. I want to read reviews. I want to look at all that kind of stuff, depending on how big of a purchase it is. I'm going to put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah. I mean, look, me, for example, I've got a ton of money in, but believe it or not, I own cold weather clothes, despite what anybody thinks I do. I own Carhartt coats and all this stuff. I've got a Carhartt coat that I paid a ton of money for, but 10 years ago, and still nothing wrong with it. Still, to this day, it still works like I just bought it. I never had to replace a zipper, never had to replace anything on it. Sometimes it hurts when you make the purchase, but good stuff lasts a long time. You only have to buy it one time.
Well, you only wore it once, so that's no reason nothing's worn out on it yet.
Do I need to time you out again?
No.
I'll do it. I ain't scared. I'll do it.
Uncle Lou says he got the snowplow on. Hey, I kind of cut that when I was pulling up YouTube today. There's I can't remember his name of his channel, but there's a meteorologist that I follow on there that is really, really good. And he showed a big map, big snow out west and northern part of the state. I think it's going to clip above us in Michigan and all that stuff. I don't think we've got anything to worry about here, but they're looking pretty nasty out there.
I'm not even going to say out loud what our temperature is going to be through the weekend. Roger try to reach through the screen and choke me.
Ryan Hall, y'all. That's exactly it, Uncle Lou. That's it. Ryan Hall, the y'all squad. And Chris is in the house. I've got this. Says, you know, you're a real catfishman when your rain gear is the most expensive suit in your closet.
Yeah. Hey, I am with you on that one.
That's a fact. I don't even know if I have a suit, honestly. Well, I probably have a suit. I don't think it fits me. Hi, brother, dropping in. Have my heart, Kath. Hey, that's my buddy Mikey, man. Good luck with that. If you need anything, brother, give me a holler. I ain't too far away, man. Or if you just get bummed out and you want somebody to come hang out with you, I'll come sit with you. So holler at you. Let me know, buddy.
I don't have temps yet. Not because remember, just because my weather is warm does not mean the river is warm. Y'all been pumping all that cold water down to me all this time, and I guess now the water's fixing to be glowing in the dark by the time it gets down here. So who knows, you know? But all this stuff going on in up north up the Ohio River. So, but no, I don't have bumping temps quite yet, but it's close. It's close.
Yeah, the Ohio River and all the stuff going on with the chemical spill and the releasing of chemicals and the plastic snow and everything else I'm seeing all over the place. It's crazy out there. You'll drive you, in my opinion, I'll go crazy trying to keep up with the news and keep up with this and that. You don't know what to believe. Half of it's BS, and the other half's probably just bigger BS.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just, I love what the best comment of
what's going on. Look, somebody has to troll me. It's going to be that. So you know what?
Yeah, he's
earned it. He's earned that right. So I'll let him have it.
Zach said 45 degrees on the river on Sunday after all that rain and water moving down through there.
Ooh. And I'm probably at 40, 48 plus or minus, something like that. Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, 40s, man. 40s is completely doable. Fish are active in the 40s, man. That and it's only going to get warmer for the most part. Here we are. We're almost at the end of February. We're rolling into March, and man, winter doesn't seem that bad to me. I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody else might feel differently, at least in my region. But in my region, I feel like the winter was easy peasy. We had a couple snows and a little bit of like a week or so of really cold temps, and that was it. Becca, what the crap? She says it was 90 degrees today. And then Friday, we won't get out of the 40s.
Wow.
Holy crap. Yeah, I know. It seems like no matter what state you're in, everyone says, oh, well, just wait 10 minutes. The weather will change. That's like I've come to the conclusion that's every state.
That's everywhere. That's everywhere. Yeah.
Doug says, Creole, I've peeled twice this year already from sunburn.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've done it. I've done it too. Actually, getting real warm in the sun. Oh yeah. I've done it. I've done it once for sure since January 1st. Believe it or not. Yeah.
What's it doing to y'all's river, rod knockers? I can't speak on it honestly. I know that the chemical in the water they don't have how many parts per million before it affects. I think there'll be longer lasting conditions once this stuff settles into the riverbed and sediment. I'm not a biologist by any means, so for me to guess, or I don't really know, to be completely honest. I don't really know. I'm going to keep fishing. I don't eat the fish out of the river anyway. If they grow super big, that would be awesome. Like if we just got these giant mutant fish.
Mm-hmm. It would be pretty cool.
But I have seen some reports of the creek basically that fed into the Ohio River, and the media or the EPA was trying to say there's only like 1,500 fish affected or killed in the spill, and they showed like thousands and thousands of dead fish in this creek. Creole, sorry, but I hope your skeeter's the size of pigeons.
Actually, Uncle Lou, I will have you know, we actually have two different species of mosquitoes in Louisiana. We have one species that's small that can pass through a screen door, and then there's the other species that just go ahead and open the door and go through. So,
Steve Mosley's heading out. Thanks for stopping in, buddy. I appreciate it, man. We still got 77 people here. Right? We're just hanging out at this point.
yep.
Too many river rats shows Creole in a t-shirt. Danny and Rich and myself shaking like a dog, trying to pass peach seed from the cold.
Y'all gonna be really mad this coming weekend when I'm gonna be in shorts. I'm gonna really make y'all mad.
Hey, we could have been in shorts today. It was like 60. I think it was 60 degrees out today. It don't take much to put me in shorts. I'm fat. That's what we have up here. Yeah. So as far as the river goes, we're just going to continue to fish and do the best we can. And we got a few trips planned coming up, man. We got a busy couple months. We got fishing with Paula here on March 4th. That's in March. And then I got a buddy trying to talk me into a trip down south at the end of March. I don't know if we're going to make it or not. Then middle of April, we got the Gathering in Tennessee over with Chattanooga area with all those guys. And then 2 weeks after that, the weekend after that, we got the Sea Arc Invitational tournament down in Wheeler. We got a lot of stuff coming up here in the last couple of weeks. Uncle Lou, they are musk turkeys, skeeters the size of turkeys.
Yeah. Hey, that's our state bird. Watch it. The mosquito.
The mosquito?
Yeah. You didn't know that, huh? See? Can't go home and say you didn't learn nothing.
Be like in the nice in the 50s, back to the cold water equals monster catfish in Texas. Oh, here we go. I'm a hazmat tech. Once that hits the river, with the water volume in the river, it should dilute quickly. It should not be much of any effect on the river. That's kind of what I was thinking. The parts per million, I think, would be so minute that I think it may be hype. Everyone's jumping on everything. Everything's a big deal. Not to make light of the subject, that was a big deal, and I don't know what the effects are of them burning that stuff and going into the atmosphere. I've seen videos where people talk about acid rain and eat the clear coat off a truck, but who knows, that person's clear coat could have been coming off before. There's just so much misleading information out there, and everybody wants to get the spotlight for 5 seconds. So everything's so blown out of proportion. You just don't know what to believe. So Chrissy, did you let Roger know he had to use rubber hooks on the tournament? Missy, hey, you just calm down. In a Barbie reel.
I was hoping I could slip Roger $20 and get some intel on Paula for me when they fish together, or put some little nicks in her line or something.
Well, I may be able to grab her SD card.
Ooh.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. You probably.
Or at least
I think that would work for me the other way around. You end up, on her side helping her out, I believe.
Yeah. The Gathering needs to change it. Sound too much like a geeky card game or a spooky movie. Just saying. The Gathering. We like geeky, quirky stuff. So
yeah, we do.
It fits right in. Will he have to catch paper mache catfish too? There you go. These guys want me to use rubber hooks and Barbie reels.
Oh, wow.
Look at it like this: a swimming pool the size of Portsmouth, and put a tablespoon of salt in it.
Yeah.
Is it going to make the salt water? No.
Yep.
No. And you're right. And the thing is, we just got a ton of water. Like our river came up, I believe, somewhere right around 24 feet in 3 days. It went from like 18 to 46.
All things considered, because of that, not a bad time to have a massive amount of water in the river.
Yeah. As far as like what he's saying there, the dilution rate, we got a lot of water come through. So hopefully that once Chrissy Roger might put you fishing on the bank.
Oh, ouch.
Don't give her any ideas. She's already fishing on the bank. She wants to get in the boat with me. She wants me to fish against her out of my own boat.
Hey, I think that's a smart move. I like it.
Nobody squeezed your head for crap.
I know, but I just stating.
Yeah,
my
he said the
opinion.
same thing. That flow probably helped a lot. Just
Oh, yeah.
kind of flushed that stuff on through, and a lot of extra water when we really needed it. So
Yep, just send it on down to me. Thank
there
you.
you go.
You just send it on down to me. I'll take it.
Just sit there with your arms open and be like, I got it.
I got it. It's all got to
One
come to
more
me.
relaxed. Freddie says he's got one more relaxed day. Then Thursday set up, and then party starts. Catfish and Crappie Conference Friday and Saturday. Oh yeah. So we actually had this conversation. I think it was me and Zach the other day. How do you feel about them adding crappie to the conference? What's your personal opinion on it?
I'll be honest. I am a little on the fence about it. I don't know. In one way, it brings all new vendors with all new stuff. A lot of the catfish anglers also fish for that, so it's a little more of something for everybody. Dang well, all of us guys would go over there, pick up some jigs, look at all the rods, all the stuff. It's great for that. But it's always been the catfish conference. I'm stubborn. I'm hard headed. I'm a little resistant to change. That's kind of where my opinion is coming from on that one. But trust me, all the catfish people are going to make their rounds at those booths and vendors as well. I can promise you that.
It's funny because I went through the exact same inner dialogue. At first, I was like, no, it's the catfish conference, man. Yeah. It's the one place in the world where we have just catfishing. Everywhere else we go, it's everything. But then I was like, I love crappie fishing. I guarantee
Exactly.
I'm going to be over there. And, and not only the most of them it's crappie gear, there's going to be panfish gear, whether hand tied jigs, small hooks, bobbers, but there's going to be all that stuff. And we all, love to catch our own bait. Well, except for Potomac guys, they just buy eels. But I'm just picking on you guys. So no, I'm actually excited. I love crappie. If Mark hadn't come up with catfish and crappie name before, I would have loved to have had. I don't know if I was smart enough to think of that, but catfish and crappie are like the two fish that I love to chase the most.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I grew up and was taught to fish, catching saccoli all my life. That I guarantee I've caught way more of those than I have catfish. I can promise you from a young age. So yeah, it's in all of us. Absolutely.
Oh, I get what you're saying, Rusty. I got you now. Becca makes a good point too. We may be able, some of these crappie guys may get turned on. Yep. Well, see, even Steve's been doing crappie fishing here lately. I've been seeing him posting some pictures and stuff on getting on some big crappie. And I don't like
he was bait fishing.
Same thing.
I had to. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it.
I don't eat the catfish, so I got to catch crappie so I have something to put in the frying pan. Dad says, fun, informative show, boys. Thanks, Dad. Thanks for popping in. I don't think putting Chrissy against on the bank side would hurt anything. We catch fish up against the bank almost just as much as we catch them out in the deep. So, heading out. All right, Monster Cat's heading out.
And you see, and you make a good point, Buck. I thought the same thing too, but I would bet that if you look at the overall total sales for the entire conference, I bet you they pick way up as a whole amongst everybody, because I believe with that side of the conference now, it's going to, I think in general, it's going to just bring a bigger crowd. I'll be honest with you. I don't see a lot of people, let's say, getting their budget cut in half because they have to have this and have to have that. I think overall we're a crowd of it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. I see a lot of that happening. So yeah. I mean, will you have a small percentage that'll hurt a little because of it? sure. I'm sure it will. But I would bet the overall sales as a total will be more compared to just the catfish stuff. That's my personal opinion.
It'll be an interesting conversation to have after it's all said and done. Yeah, to find out what
it will.
It will. Of course, Steve and the committee and all them guys, they'll be subject to all that information. Uncle Lou, Mom is actually doing really good, man. I appreciate you asking. She may still be watching, but man, she's been leaps and bounds this last week, so she should be getting ready to go home here with the next couple of days to finish her recovery, and then we'll talk about long-term care and going back to work eventually. So thank you for asking, but she's doing great.
Yeah. There's only one thing you need to know if the joint venture is successful or not. If it happens again next year, then you know.
That's it.
Real easy. If it happens again next year, then there's your answer. It was successful.
There you go. Yeah, I hope everyone has a very blessed night. Prayers and blessings. Hugs, much love. Safe travels to the conference. Thank you, Becca.
Appreciate it, Becca.
Thank you. We'll be meeting up dark and early on Friday morning. All three of us are going to meet up and head out. We'll probably budget ourselves to stop and get some breakfast on the way down or something, or grab something to eat. It's only about a 3-hour drive for us, 3.5. So
that's not bad at all. I did that before lunch today.
Yeah. That's a short day. So, well, guys, we're going to wrap things up. It's 9:30. Man, I hate to. It's 71 people still hanging out with us. So, man, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like I said, we're going to be at the Catfish Conference. Be sure to find us. Get a hold of me. Get you. Say, hey, Roger, I want one of those stickers. You can one of these or one of these. You let me know which one you want. And say, hey, give me one of those stickers, man. And I'll hook you up. And, don't be shy. Come up and introduce yourself to me. Like we said before, a lot of these folks, these names on here, we won't know you outside. Just, say, hey, I'm, Matt, want to be outdoors. Who? No, I probably know him. But, don't be a stranger. Come up and introduce yourself, and we'll have a good time. Jeremy, you got anything?
No, I'm good, brother. I'm ready to go hop in the shower. And
yeah, you've had a long day. So
yep, long day of driving.
All right, guys. We'll be right back here next Tuesday night. Same cat time, same cat channel. Good night, everybody.
Fish everybody.